Today I'm going to be going over the banking application made in Java that I've been building over the past week. There are many different tools for the user, including e-transfer, stocks, and budget. I took inspiration from a number of existing applications and websites that did aspects of what my end goal was, and then morphed it into something that I'm pretty proud of. As you boot up the program, there's a quick introduction where a series of instructions display for the user. The user advances to a login screen where they have two options. If they have an account, they can enter their username and password to log in, and if they do not, they will be redirected to create a new account. And the user enters the username, password, and a balance. If the login is correct, they are redirected to the main screen. The main screen acts as a gateway to all of the main functionality of the program, such as stocks, e-transfers, and budget. The main screen updates as they interact with different parts of the program. For example, if the user invests in stocks, the main screen will update, showing how much the user has invested. The Sim 1 Day button acts as a way to advance the program through time. In a real program, there would be no button, however, there needs to be there in order to have the stocks advance and the monthly budget update, etc. So as you click the button, the days advance. If the user clicks on the Invest in Stocks button, they are brought to a screen with a number of stocks. Each of the stocks has a number of instance variables, including the number of shares owned for each profile, the current value of the stock, the name and abbreviation, and the variability of the stock. If the variability is high, the stock is extremely volatile. This means that it can go through the roof in price or fall through the floor within a day. People who are trying to make consistent, safe investments will have to use the stocks with the lower variability. Each of the stocks has its own screen which shows more information about the stock. Through this screen, the user can buy and sell stocks and view a graph of how the stock has been doing over the course of the last 10 days. The e-transfer button controls the transfer of money and assets to different profiles. There are two different options for e-transfers, money and stocks. The money e-transfer is very straightforward. The user chooses who they want to send money to through a drop-down menu, and then enter the amount of money that they want to send. When they confirm the e-transfer, the money is sent. The stock e-transfer is also very simple. The user enters which stock that they want to send shares of, then who they want to send it to, and how many shares they would like to transfer. If the Transfer Shares button is pressed, the shares are sent. The final part of the project is the budget. The user sets a total budget for that month, and then the program displays an overview screen for the budget. There are three different types of budget objects: income, goals, and expenses. Each type of budget has 3 slots that you can put objects of that type into. Every month, a 12th of your yearly income will be added to your bank account. You can pay off your goals using the Manage Goals button, and you can also create expenses for each month, which will be subtracted from your bank account and your budget. Now, into the code. In order to start the program, we run the main. In coding, we generally want to keep the main as clean as possible in order to avoid any confusion. This main only consists of one line, an object constructor for the GUI. In the GUI constructor, the code runs the first of many windows inside of the program. There are 24 screens in total, each pertaining to a different part of the program. The GUI class is made up of 2 things: JFrame creation and action listeners. I tried my best to leave all the logic and calculations to the other classes that relate specifically to that part of the code. I created a color theme for the program in order to make it easier for the user. For example, the background is light gray, the buttons are purple, etc. Creating each GUI was a lot of work. For each button, label, and text field, I had to define it, set its bounds, font, color, coordinates, layout, visibility, etc. This is why the GUI is so long, because I had to define the instance variables of each one of the J objects. I use the profile object as a parameter for most of these GUI frames because the information that is displayed pertains to a specific person. For example, two profiles are going to have different balances, so passing the login profile through the program makes sure that the right information is displayed. The expense, goal, and income classes all fall under the umbrella of the budget class, which means that they inherit the instance variables of the budget. Every expense, goal, and income has a date and an amount, which means that I can extend that information into the other classes rather than repeating it in those individual classes. These classes construct the budget objects, which are used to calculate certain things inside the budget. The date class is used to calculate the new day every time the program is progressed. I did this using a series of for loops, modulus equations, and if statements. Eventually, a string array is returned with the values of the day, month, and the year. The eTransfer class is used to transfer money and stocks between profiles. The main profile, the other profile, and the amount transferred are all passed into the method as parameters. Then, the program takes that amount away from the first profile and adds it to the second. The verification class is used to check if a login is valid. This class runs through all the created profiles and checks if the username and password matches a profile. If it does, the method returns as true. If not, it returns as false. The investment class is used to create the stocks and update their prices. This is all used through random number generators and a couple of if statements. The profile class is used to control everything specific to each profile. This includes shares, income, goals, and expenses. Each profile has a lot of instance variables, most of which are objects. Profiles can have a max of 3 goals, 3 expenses, and 3 income sources. The constructor is used to create the object where the user creates the profile. The profile class has many features, including calculating, adding, and removing expenses, goals, and income, selling and buying stocks, checking if the user has a job, resetting the budget, and checking if the user has invested.